Dungeons and Dragons isn't just a game, it's a story waiting to be told. A world shaped by imagination, where every choice matters, and the only limit is your creativity. Imagine a world where your choices shape the story, where every decision carries weight, and where your dungeon master is an AI. With friends and fables, you get dynamic storytelling, intelligent NPCs, and endless possibilities, all powered by AI. What if your dungeon master wasn't human? What if instead of flipping through notes and rulebooks, an AI wove an entire adventure in real time, reacting, adapting, and storytelling on the fly? Might seem a bit off-putting at first, but D&D and AI just seem to work together. It's an endless resource to help add life and structure to our imagination. With Franz, the Friends and Fables AI Dungeon Master, planning, scheduling, and creating a campaign are no longer an issue. Don't have friends to play with? No problem. The game plays great solo. Have friends that you do want to play with? It has multiplayer. Currently up to 6 people can enter any campaign together. You and your group want to play, but nobody really wants to do the math and all the complicated stuff, or deal with the true villain of D&D, scheduling issues. Let friends take care of it. You just focus on the fun. Where Friends and Fables really shines, though, is in the fact that it's not just a game. It's an endless resource for players to use and share their work with other people and play in each other's worlds. You know the classic setting: knights, wizards, ancient ruins filled with treasure. The kind of world where honor is won in battle and the fate of the realm rests in your hands. But what if you wanted something different? Imagine a world of superheroes, where you're not a wizard with a spell book, but a masked vigilante with superpowers. Instead of a dungeon, you're breaking into a villain's lair. Instead of goblins, you're taking down a gang of high-tech criminals. Or maybe the world's already ended, civilization has crumbled, and survival is everything. Magic doesn't exist, technology is rusted, and every day is a fight for food, fuel, and a place to sleep. That's one of the things I love about Friends and Fables. There's so much to choose from, so much people have already made. And D&D isn't just one game, it's any game you want it to be. Whether you're battling monsters, fighting crime, or exploring the stars, the adventure is always yours to shape. There are already countless worlds from every theme and topic I could think of. The classic fantasy realm had tons of options, from original Sword Coast to the world of Game of Thrones, Harry Potter. That's just classic fantasy. On top of that, there are worlds with superheroes, sci-fi, horror, real life. I even saw a GTA world called Grand Theft Dragons. And the worlds are ever growing. Anyone can make a world, and anyone can add to already made worlds. It's an ever-expanding library for people to discover and make their own adventures. No matter what you're in the mood for, you can find a world for it. On top of the worlds, you have all sorts of other creations we can take from. People can share their characters, their weapons, their items, their worlds, their magic items, spells. Every little piece of your world can be crafted and then shared with everybody else. That's the thing about Friends and Fables. It's a great resource to share what we make with each other and make our own worlds and just make them the best we can have them. There's everything: monsters, items, spells, races, and there's no limit. Every single detail can be crafted. Backstories, stats, images. It's a great resource to use. I was scrolling through items the other day and I just could not find the bottom. There was so much to use, so much to put in your world. It was overwhelming. It's great. And Friends and Fables already made a few of their own personally crafted worlds. Their main one, I'm going to butcher this, but it's Faladrim. That's one of their main worlds. It's the world I started with. Basically, it's just Swords Coast, kind of, fantasy setting. It's about the exact same. But when I was playing, it was more focused in Elvish. I don't know if I was just in the Elvish city. I don't know if you can move on. I just played it a little bit, then I went to Swords Coast because I just want to stick with the classics. But it was great. You had pre-made characters that they've already created, handcrafted. They look good. Stats are good. Their inventory is already sorted out. It's really great. It's perfect if you're just starting out and you don't want to be overwhelmed with it, because there's a lot of math, a lot of stuff like that. But Friends and Fables takes care of a lot of that. Whenever it's time for you to roll, it just pops right up on the screen. It's all organized. You have all your rolls, all labeled, organized. Franz, the DM, tells you what to roll. You go right down to it. It's easy. you have your weapon stats, and if you ever get to a point where you don't really know what to do, you're at a loss for words, it even has a little recommended speak for me kind of deal, and it just gives you a few suggestions. They're great. I haven't used them a whole lot because I can just chatter right along with them, but it's a good little option to have, and it's really good for a beginner. I would recommend it. At least a little free trial. Give it a shot. See what you think about it. But I'm going to jump into it and show you just a little bit of how Franz works.
I'm Franz, your AI game master. You can start playing by typing a message to me below. Is there any particular way you want to start off the campaign, or should I dive right in? The air in Ezra's tavern is thick with the mingled scents of roasted nuts, wood smoke, and something akin to spiced apple cider. The common room is bustling. Several off-duty members of the Eilorn Council are deep in hushed conversation at one table, their silvery armor gleaming softly in the dim light filtering through the high windows. At the bar, a tall woman with calloused hands nurses a drink, her face obscured by shadow. Behind the bar, a halfling polishes a tankard with a practiced hand. He has a neatly trimmed beard and a charismatic smile. Every so often he glances over the assembled patrons, seeming to take in every detail. Near the back, a human in simple robes sits alone. Mystical symbols are adorned on the robes, and he idly traces patterns in the condensation on his mug, his gaze distant, as if lost in thought. A staff crackles with arcane energy as it rests against the table. Ezra, the halfling barkeep, perks up at your request, his eyes twinkling with amusement. An ale for our new friend, he calls out, already reaching for a clean tankard. With a practiced hand, he fills it from a nearby barrel, the liquid a rich amber color. As he slides the tankard across the bar towards you, he gives a friendly nod. That'll be 2 coppers, friend. Welcome to Ezra's Tavern. I don't believe I've seen your face around here before. What brings you to Narth? He asks, leaning against the bar with a disarming smile. The tavern's general din fades slightly as Ezra focuses his attention on you, his keen eyes missing nothing. Ezra strokes his chin thoughtfully, his gaze sweeping over you. Work, you say, he muses, his eyes twinkling with interest. Well, Narth always has need of capable hands. What sort of work are you seeking, friend? Are you skilled with a blade? Perhaps a knack for puzzles or riddles? Or maybe you're just good at hauling things, he says with a chuckle. Before you can answer, the human wizard at the back of the tavern suddenly looks up, his eyes widening slightly as if he's just remembered something important. He opens his mouth as if to speak, but then hesitates, glancing around the room before seemingly deciding against it. He returns to tracing patterns on his mug, his brow furrowed in thought. Ezra's eyebrows raise in surprise, a smile tugging at the corner of his lips. A juggler, eh? Now that's a trade you don't see every day in Narth. Most folks here are either wood elves, scholars, or merchants, but I suppose a bit of entertainment is always welcome. He pauses, tapping a finger against the bar as he considers your question. As for fairs or caravans, the trunk market is always bustling with activity. It's where merchants from all over Faladrim come to trade their wares. You might find someone there willing to hire a juggler for a few performances. It's held every week near the city's central Elder Tree gateway. I think it's today or tomorrow. As Ezra is speaking, the wizard at the back of the tavern abruptly stands, his chair scraping against the wooden floor. He turns towards the bar, his eyes scanning the patrons before landing on you. He seems to steel himself, taking a deep breath before speaking. "Excuse me," he calls out, his voice carrying a hint of urgency. "Are you perhaps new to Narth?" The wizard nods slowly, his gaze intense. "I overheard you speaking with Ezra about seeking work," he says, his voice measured. I may have a task for you if you're interested. It's unconventional but potentially rewarding, and perhaps a bit dangerous. He glances around the tavern again, seemingly checking to see if anyone is listening. Lowering his voice slightly, he continues, "Meet me near the Fountain of Narth in an hour. I will explain the details then, if you are interested." With that, he gives a curt nod and quickly exits the tavern, leaving a palpable sense of mystery in his wake. Ezra raises an eyebrow, watching the wizard depart. He turns back to you with a curious expression. "Well now," he says, leaning closer to the bar. "That was certainly interesting. Merlin doesn't usually take much interest in new arrivals. I wonder what he's up to." He shrugs, a hint of amusement in his eyes. "Whatever it is, it sounds like it could be an adventure. Just be careful, friend. Some folks in Narth are not always what they seem."
I know that was kind of short, but I just want to give a quick little rundown of the speech to text and how Fran's responds to whatever you type. It's mind blowing and it's so much fun seeing how he reacts to your ideas, just whatever you want to do. I just wanted to have a short little video and show you, and just I hope you try it out. It's if you're into D&D, I almost guarantee you're gonna love it. It's so much fun. I've been having fun. It's giving me ideas for my own campaigns. But if you get a chance, try it out. Anyway, you have a great day. I appreciate anybody that watched this. And remember, friends and fables, check it out.